Hello! Tonight we are going to be doing more Pokemon Colosseum, starting off at Mount Battle again and then moving over to shiny hunting. I'm going to try tackling the last area of Mount Battle, but I'm not sure if that is going to work out. It might take a few attempts to build up the levels needed to brute force our way through there. And we will take the shadow Pokemon that are most purified. The game just doesn't seem to be cooperating really today. Yeah, that should do. And now to make our way off to Mount Battle. Once I finish my areas 91 to 100 attempt, I'm going to go to purifying shadow Pokemon again too. We've been making good progress on purifying the last few streams. Finally out of Realgam. Walking through a few hallways in that area just takes so long. There's this building that I guess is a lab. It's out in the middle of the desert. Did you know? Maybe they're making those weird Pokemon out there. Nah, that can't be true, huh? Well, let's start the attempt. Area 10. There's a good chance we'll get KO'd before finishing this area off. Well, you have finally marched your way up to Area 10. I, Tondo, shall meet your challenge. Okay, Tondo. Let's see what you have. Probably higher levels than us at this point. Golem and Relicanth. Still manageable levels somehow. 58 and 59 versus our level 58 and 60. Surf from Vivian should be enough to OHKO the Golem, so with Fen we should go with a Stomp on Relicanth. It's really not a good matchup for Fen, either way. The Stomp wasn't very effective, but I don't think we would see anything better from a Fire-type attack. Golem gets OHKO'd, and it's going to hit neutrally on Relicanth. Not a insignificant chunk of damage. Cacturne. Okay, this is something that Fen can handle. And Relicanth flinched from the Stomp. Flamethrower should be able to one-shot the Cacturn, and Surf should do more damage to Relicanth. Cacturn goes down, which means they're going to send out their last Pokemon now, which is a Sandslash. Okay, Surf should hit that hard too, in addition to Relicanth. Over half health. Relicanth doesn't take anywhere near as much. Goes for a Sandstorm. That's not too bad for us. Except that might trigger the Sandslash's, it might have Sand Rush or Sand Veil. I'll try a Fire Blast on Relicanth. I don't expect it to do much, but it still might do something. It didn't hit, so it does not do anything. The Surf will finish off the Sandslash. We don't have to worry about its ability taking effect because of the Sandstorm now. And Relicanth will go down next turn regardless of whether Fen lands a hit or not. Ancient Power. That's going to be not quite half Fen's health. Area 91, not too bad to go through, mainly just because of the not being too bad against Vivian. Fen, not overly useful in this battle, but Vivian did put in quite a bit of work. Fire Blast, just not quite enough to finish off Relicanth, but Surf will do that. And we can move on to the next area. A worthy trainer you are. There are just 9 zones to go. Don't falter. We are almost done with Mount Battle. But even after we beat it, we won't actually be done. We still have other things to do here. Whoa, young one. It's good to see you've climbed this far, but your climb stops here. If you have too many water-type Pokemon, it might. Golbat and Swalot, we can handle this pretty easily. We're going to want to hit Golbat with an Ice Beam, and we can probably focus Swalot with Fen. Ice Beam is probably going to be enough to, if not one-shot the Golbat, bring it down to almost being defeated. Fire Blast is going to take at least 2 hits to take out Swalot though. Crobat, not O-Code, but we got the freeze. And it unfroze first turn. That's unlucky. Sludge Bomb. Hopefully that doesn't poison. No poisoning. Good. Flamethrower we can throw on Swalot again. The Ice Beam did the majority of Golbat's health, and we should be able to finish it off with just a Surf, which will also hit Swalot. And I think it might finish off Swalot as well. The Golbat should go down here. It goes down. And so does Swalot, meaning they are on to their last 2 Pokemon. Level 61 on Vivian. Mirror Coat. Probably better than Aurora Beam at this point. Since we have Ice Beam basically doing everything that Aurora Beam was doing better, we can easily use Mirror Coat there instead. It takes a bit of predictions to use, but it should work well. Flamethrower on Muck, and a Surf and just to do a bit of damage to both. Fen is going to go down here because of the Tentacruel. Not much we can do about that, but we can at least try and take Muck out before then. Even between both Vivian and Fen, we're not going to do enough damage to take out the Tentacruel before Fen faints. We have a Hydro Pump. Not quite enough to finish off Fen, but luckily Muck uses Acid Armor. Its defense rose, meaning a Fire Blast, if that lands from Fen, paired with a Surf, will be enough to finish off Muck. Then we will only have to worry about Tentacruel. Still not doing much to it, but we can manage with our other Pokemon. Hydro Pump's going to take Fen out. Fen goes down. I'm going to go with Skiploom. There's a good chance we'll be able to get a Sleep Powder off here, which will make this be a little bit easier. Surf will continue to do pretty much nothing, but nothing is better than actually nothing. Sludge Bomb, that's going to take out our Skiploom before we can put it to sleep. Unfortunate, but not unexpected. Meditite is low level, but it does have a Psychic attack, I believe, which will be very powerful against Tentacruel if it lands. That being said, it is 27 levels weaker, and even with that super effective hit, it probably won't do too much. Maybe about half of what Surf's doing from Vivian. It's not going to land, though. Makuhita will soak one more hit, and then we can go into Heracross. It's not going to land anyways. So what move we use from Makuhita doesn't really matter. But we have managed to take out most of Tentacruel's health just by stalling like this. Because for some reason the AI focuses down the weaker Pokemon in a lot of cases. This will bring it down to probably 3 more hits until it's defeated. 1 more, actually, if they get a good hit off. But Heracross might actually be able to finish it. So we might not even need the Surf. Raised accuracy. I mean, raised evasion. 1 evasion raise is actually causing us a lot of problems. Finally we get a hit in, and it's enough to finish Tentacruel off. So we can move on to the next area. Your Excellence shines. These battles are getting to be slightly close, but not as bad as the one that we lost a few goes ago. Just 8 zones left, don't lose your focus. You're going to knock me out? That's impossible. We'll see about that. Grumpig and Kadabra. Probably a Surf and a Flamethrower on the Kadabra, since Kadabra is more frail, and we can probably finish it off in one turn. The Grumpig is going to take a few turns, though. Magic Coat. Flamethrower does most of Kadabra's health, not enough to OHKO, but Surf will finish it off. And start chipping down on the Grumpig. About as much damage as we were doing per hit to the Tentacruel. Matang, we can take that out with a Flamethrower from Fen. And then just keep surfing. Okay, we'll see what the last Pokemon is, and it will also take a hit from the surf. Lunatone. We can probably take that out with just a surf. I'm actually not sure of how high its special defense stat is. Critical hit does a lot of damage to Grumpig. Lunatone seems to be pretty defensive since they only took out half of its health, but we should be able to finish off both of them in this turn. Flamethrower to finish off Grumpig, and Surf will finish off Lunatone, and maybe Grumpig if the Flamethrower doesn't finish it off here. And that's battle. Burn on the Grumpig too, so that just guarantees us KOing it. Grumpig goes down, and the Lunatone will now follow. Three trainers down, 7 to go. Knocked down and out. I thought I was tougher than you. Oh, I think it's stupendous that you've come so far, but that doesn't mean I'll ease up on you. Lady Cowley. Castform and Sunflora. It would probably be best to take out the Sunflora with a fire or a Flamethrower, and then hit the Castform and whatever comes after Sunflora with Surf. There's a chance the Flamethrower won't be quite enough to take out Sunflora, but I think it should be. Mivoco with more dangerous Pokemon than that, so it goes down smoothly. Vileplume, that's also going to be an easy Flamethrower. Stronger hit on Castform than I was expecting. Not much to the Vileplume, but we don't need to take it down with Surf. He can finish that off with just a Flamethrower. Especially now that there's a sunny day up for us. The Flamethrower will definitely KO here. Vileplume goes down. We'll see what their last Pokemon is, and then take out the, well, not take out, but do more good damage on the Castform. Blossom, also an easy Flamethrower. super effective. One more Surf will finish off Cast Form, so the battle will end this turn. Solar Beam hits Vivian, but really doesn't do all that much. Vivian is really bulky and really just being a good Suicune. Blossom goes down, and Surf will finish off Cast Form. $62 on Vivian. Cast Form goes down, and that leads into the next battle. Ho, 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 ho. That was our most wonderful battle. There remain but 6 zones. I wish you the best of luck. Okay, next one. Number 85. You're now halfway through Area 10. Getting complacent now can ruin you. This is going a lot more smoothly than I expected it to. Mantine and Seaking. Okay, this is where it starts going bad. A water-heavy trainer is the worst for our current team comp, since Vivian can't do anything against a water-heavy trainer, and Fen goes down really fast. So we're going to have to focus down the Mantine first of all, since the water absorb on it is really bad for Vivian. We can only chip it down, but Fen's likely going down either this turn or the next turn just from the sheer amount of water. Critical hit! Actually enough to take Mantine down in the first turn. I was not expecting that. Huntail, another water type. Waterfall's probably going to do half of Fen's HP. Almost, but we should be able to get one more turn off of Fen. The Huntail probably going to go down a little bit easier than the Seaking. They don't have a water absorb Pokemon up now, so we can use a Surf. Even if it's not very effective, we can start getting that chip damage. And Stomp should bring it down to half. Not quite. Waterfall. If the Huntail attacks Fen 2, Fen's going down this turn. Yep, Fen's going down. Heracross is going to be our best bet, since it's the only other attacker we have. It also hits neutrally, so that should make this go a little bit smoother. Brick Break should do more than Stomp did with Entei, and Surf should at least be able to finish off the Huntail on top of that. Actually, I'm not entirely sure that Brick Break will do more than Fen's Stomp, because Heracross is a bit underleveled at this point. Just not enough to KO. Rain Dance. That setup's actually going to be very helpful for Vivian. The Brick Break should start doing chip damage to Seaking. Surf will finish off Huntail and also do more damage to Seaking because of the Rain Dance that's up. They outspeed. Looks like they both have Swift Swim. Heracross goes down, which means we're now going to be stalling them out with the other 3. Since we just brought these 3 for purifying purposes, they're not going to be able to do anything. With the exception of Skiploom, which, if they get down to their last Pokemon, they might not take out right away, and we could get off a sleep powder. Gorbis is their last Pokemon. Still going to be cutting it a bit close here. We're going to have to outstall them with Vivian once Meditite and the other two go down. Meditite's going down in one hit. It at least stalled out one attack. And Makuhita will absorb the attack from the Sea King. Or the Gorbis, I mean. I thought it was the Gorbis that used the waterfall for a second. Either way, that brings us down to our last two. That did a decent bit of damage to the Gorbis. About another 3, I think, to finish off the Sea King, though. We'll try and get a sleep powder off, but we're probably going to go down this turn, which will leave it up to Vivian, who should be able to outstall them. It's a 2-on-1, so it's not in our favor, but with our high special defense stat, it should be entirely possible. Two more hits to bring Gorbis down. One more to finish off Sea King. It will actually probably take 3 more hits to finish off Gorbis, because I believe the Rain Dance is ending this turn. But that's more than enough time to finish off Sea King, which is the one really doing damage. Gorbis missed. Sea King goes down. 1, maybe 2 more hits to finish off Gorbis now. Let's see if we can finish off Gorbis with this attack, or if we'll need one more. It goes down. We no longer have to worry about a water-heavy trainer, and we can move on to number 96. Ooh, well done. You're not bad at all. We had a good battle. Thanks. Halfway done. Woohoo! You came all the way here? Excellent, excellent. I'm getting fired up. At the very least, they shouldn't be a water trainer. Electrode and Mischievous. Electric types are bad for Vivian, but we should be fine to take up 1-2 hits from an Electrode. But we are going to want to focus it down as fast as possible. It actually went for the Explosion, which is a good choice since it's not going to hit their Mischievous, but that's going to do a lot of damage to us. Over half of Fenn's HP and nearly half of Vivian's. Ninetales. Surf is going to do good damage to it, but since we chose Flamethrower on it, if it has Flash Fire, that's actually going to be really bad. Half of its health. We're going to want to redirect Fenn's attack to the Mischievous this turn. The Mischievous set up a Sunny Day, which is going to let the Ninetales use a Solar Beam. So, hopefully we overheat. Not very effective. That's enough to take out Fenn. But since that did lower its special attack, we should be fine for here. Heracross shouldn't have any problems now. Of course, Heracross can't hit the Mischievous, but we just need to focus on the other Pokemon, whatever that's going to be, as they send out their last one. Surf isn't enough to finish off Ninetales. And Psychic's going to finish off Heracross in one hit because super effect. Heracross takes it, but not by much. Switching out to Meditite is probably our best bet here, since it will focus the, it will absorb the aggro, and we can finish off Ninetales with a Surf, and keep chipping down the Mischievous. And save Heracross to land a hit when we need it more. Flamethrower enough to take out Meditite. Next up, we'll send out Makihita. Just need to tank one more hit. Makihita's Shadow Gauge is almost empty. Ninetales goes down, which will leave it to their last Pokemon. Mischievous still needs a few more hits. Camerupt is an easy one for Vivian to take out, though. The Shadow Ball is going to take out Makihita. Might as well send out Heracross here. All Heracross has are fighting type attacks which can't hit Mischievous, but we can go with an Endure just to make it tank another turn. And since it is the significantly lowered leveled out of our two, it's going to be soaking up the aggro here. Surf not enough to OHKO the Camerupt, and Mischievous is going to take 2 more hits. Psychic, going to bring Heracross down to 1 because of the Endure. Earthquake from Camerupt. That will actually finish off the Mischievous. Heracross hangs on because of the Endure. Vivian running really low on health. The Levitate. By enduring, we should still soak up health, or soak up attacks. Surf will finish off the Camerupt. Endure doesn't work the second time. I'm pretty sure it's like Protect, where every turn you use it, its chance of working drops by 50%. Either way, it should still soak up 1 hit from the Mischievous, which will be more than enough for us to be able to finish it off. Level 63 on Vivian. Psychic finishes off Heracross. Now we can send in Skiploom to just tank 1 more hit potentially, while Vivian finishes off Mischievous. Surf's going to finish it, and we can move on to the next. We are getting really close. Only 3 more battles to go. Actually, 4 battles, I mean. Burnt out. I think you can go all the way to the end. I hope so, but the area leaders are a lot stronger than the other trainers, so beating 100, I'm not entirely sure we can do it here. You're awfully unlucky. I mean, you just had to run into me with only 4 zones to go. Rather arrogant. Cool Trainer Trilla. Oh, for Alligator and Typhlosion, they actually are getting to be really strong Pokemon. I wasn't expecting this kind of a difficulty spike right here. Stomp will have to do to whittle down the Feraligatr, And I'm hoping that Surf can finish off Typhlosion in one hit. Flamethrower's not going to do too much, especially not against Vivian. Feraligatr doesn't take much damage. Typhlosion will at least take half. The Stomp on the Feraligatr, whittling it down, but if not for that flinch, we'd be in trouble. I'm pretty sure that Feraligatr is going to take out Fen really easily. Flamethrower on Fen this turn. Didn't work much better on Fen than it did Vivian. A little bit because Fen doesn't have the defenses to back up the resistance like Vivian does. Typhlosion goes down. I'm expecting probably a Meganium next. There it is. As long as Fen doesn't go down this turn, Fen can probably finish off the Meganium in one hit. Flinch from the Feraligatr again. That's nice. Oh, they have 5 Pokemon. Rather than focusing down the Meganium, I'm going to try and take out the Feraligatr this turn, just to make sure we get a KO and aren't taking in as much damage. Because between Vivian and Fen, we can take out the Feraligatr for sure. Whereas OHKOing the Meganium, not guaranteed. Next up, Breloom. Okay. Brelooms are better for fighting type attacks than they are grass. They're also a physical attacker, and grass in this region is all special attacks, so we should be fine to focus down the Meganium with both of them going for super effective hits, which will hopefully take it down in one turn. Yep. Ooh, we even got a freeze off. Flamethrower will bring down Meganium. Breloom is still going to be a problem, but we should only have one other Pokemon to deal with now. Let's see what it is. Hopefully not another water type. Ampharos. That's going to be bad for Vivian. And we're going to get put to sleep. Fen. Okay. Ampharos making use of the Leech Seed set up by Meganium. Going to focus down the Breloom. The Ampharos is probably going to attack Vivian, which will bring it down in 1 to 2 hits. And in that time, I'm really hoping Fen wakes up. Fen is going to have to be the one to finish off the Ampharos because Vivian's not going to be able to. Fen gets paralyzed. No, wait, Vivian does? Yeah, Fen's the one that's asleep. Never mind. That just keeps Vivian in for an extra turn, so I'm not going to complain. The Ampharos is most likely to hit us with a special type attack, so Mirror Coat is not a bad choice here. Thunderbolt. Vivian survives on 1 HP, and that wasn't even because of any effect. That Mirror Coat is definitely going to do damage. Enough to even one-shot it. Had Vivian taken 1 more damage there, that would have been a lot closer. I knew taking Mirror Coat was going to be useful. Erk. But really, that was way too close. Your skills appear to be real. Just 3 zones left. Go! 98. We're almost there. There are just 3 to go, including me. Will you fall here or advance? On guard. Okay. Let's see what they have. I'm assuming another 5 Pokemon trainer? Blaziken and Sceptile. It seems each of these has a set of 3 starter Pokemon. Rinse and repeat, and we should be fine. The problem here, though, is unlike the last set, Sceptile is a real threat. I'll focus down the Sceptile because as powerful as Blaziken may be, it's not super effective against us. Taking down the Sceptile is going to prolong us being in this battle by quite a bit. Ice Beam and Flamethrower should be enough to take it out. Vivian took a decent hit from Sceptile, but Vivian is also hanging in there pretty well. Next up, the Swampert. Hyper Beam from Blaziken. It's going to have to recharge this turn, so we don't even have to worry about taking hit from it, which leaves us the perfect opportunity to focus on the Swampert. A Stomp is going to do neutral damage to it, and so should an Ice Beam. Because it is also a ground type, that lets us hit it with a decent hit. Another turn and we should be able to finish off Swampert. As long as Swampert doesn't take out Fen this turn, which would be problematic. Muddy Water, that's going to hurt. Probably take out Fen too. Critical hit. Fen does last though. Vivian avoids. Combined, they can take out Swampert, but Blaziken's still going to be in there. Water would have actually hit neutrally effective too, now that I think about it, and that would have taken out Blaziken. Bad call on my part. I should have used Surf rather than Ice Beam. Vivian 64. Blaziken is going to probably go for another Hyper Beam though, which is going to put it in cooldown again. It's going to take out Fen, which isn't the best, but a Blaziken that can't attack is actually pretty good for us to have on the field. And we can soak up a hit with Skiploom from the Altaria, unless the Altaria sets up, in which case Skiploom has a good chance of putting it to sleep with a Sleep Powder. And an Ice Beam should actually be able to OHKO it, so we'll be putting whatever comes out afterwards to sleep. Good. Which means we actually have a chance to land a Sleep Powder on Glalie. It would be useful if Fen was still in to take Glalie out, but not that lucky. The Sleep Powder does land though, and Glalie goes to sleep. Skiploom is not going to be able to do anything useful here, so I'll switch into Meditite to tank a hit. That way there's a chance for us to get another Sleep Powder off later. And Surf should do half of Blaziken's health, as well as starting to chip down the Glalie. And we still have Heracross, which is super effective against Glalie to take it out. Once we get Blaziken off the field and no longer a problem. Blaze Kick. That unfortunately isn't a Hyper Beam that's going to put it into recharge, but still enough for us to stall out the Blaziken's defeat and we can get into Heracross safely. I think that makes a full Shadow Gauge reduction on all 3 of the shadows we have with us. Cross Chop on Glalie. It's not going to actually matter. Wait, does Vital Throw do pure damage? Makes the user goes last, but it never misses. No. Unfortunate. I was thinking for a second there it was like Seismic Toss, which just does a pure damage, not taking into account defenses or attack stats. Surf will finish off Blaziken, and we can start racking up a bit of damage on Glalie. Glalie might wake up here. 2 Surfs to finish it off. Cross Chop is not going to do much. That actually did more than Suicune is doing. I know it's super effective, but there's still a 30 level difference. I wasn't expecting that much damage. Which means we'll finish them off here, and we can move on to the last 2 trainers. Or is it 3 at this point? I've lost count. It was I who fell. I think there's 2 trainers left. Number 99 and 100. Yep, we were on 98. Now go on, there are only 2 zones left. Throw your all into it. Number 99. If we can get through this, we can get to the last zone. Oh, my. You've won your way up through the ranks to be here. You're more excellent than my pupils. Now, show me an excellent battle. Teacher and Nacy. Crawdaunt and Magneton. The Magneton could do some serious damage to Vivian here. In fact... The flamethrower should be enough to finish it off. I'm going to switch Vivian out for Meditite, which should be a parry to a electric type attack that would take a lot of health off Vivian. It will still take down Meditite, but Myoko had Magneton, so it didn't even matter. Now, as long... Oh, Swords Dance. That works really well, actually. Really well. We didn't get what we were going for off of that switch, but Flamethrower will be super effective and able to actually take out Shedinja. And from Meditite... Meditite's going to take the aggro from Crawdaunt, letting Fen stay in unscathed. And also letting Fen take out the other Pokemon without having to worry about taking a very powerful water-type attack. Heracross, also weak to Fen. Aerial Ace, that's easily going to take out Meditite. But Meditite was just there to stall for a turn. Makuhita's next. Flamethrower should also take out Heracross, letting us just tank another hit from Crawdaunt without having to risk losing one of our powerful Pokemon. Oh, not quite enough to take out Heracross. Makuhita goes down. We will let Skiploom tank the hit from the other one here. From Crawdaunt. Aerial Ace will take it out. But that will give us the perfect opportunity to switch back into Vivian. Vivian can finish off Heracross with a Surf, leaving Fen free to start damaging the Crawdaunt. Heracross goes down, sending them into their last 2 Pokemon. That actually didn't do horrible damage to Crawdaunt. Definitely not good damage, but could have been a lot worse. The main thing is that the Crawdaunt has a Swords Dance up, which makes its attacks do a lot more. Gardevoir for the last. Stomp does good damage. One more Stomp. Oh, flinch too. So Fen doesn't take the damage. One more Stomp and Surf should bring down the Crawdon, letting us just have to worry about the Gardevoir. And with it just being the Gardevoir, we can take it down pretty easily and safely. Psychic. It's going to do a good bit of damage, but nothing too bad. We can tank at least one more of those. And in that time, we should be able to finish off the Gardevoir. That did a lot more damage that time. And Flamethrower might be able to finish it off here. Not quite, but we can still take it out before it takes out Fen. Thunderbolt, that's going to be on Vivian. Not too much. Paralysis, that we don't have to worry about. Because Fen can just finish off the Gardevoir here. And then we can move on to the last battle. I really wasn't expecting this to go so smoothly. Excellent. Okay, finally, there's just one zone left. Hang tough. Last battle. That's cheering? Or is that the sound of lava? It sounds like cheering, but there's no one here. Ooh. Wait, is this the last disc, maybe? Found one time flute. Oh, that's useful. Okay. Let's see if we can do it. We can check out the surrounding area later. The last area leader. Welcome, so good of you to come. I'm Sonic, the final trainer of Mount Battle. Now show me the results of your training. Don't hold anything back. Mount Battle Coliseum Final. Mount Battle's considered a Coliseum? Well, I guess that makes sense. Mount Battle Master Sonic would like to battle. Pinsir and Claydol. Okay. I think that the trainers leading up to him might actually be the harder opponents for us. A Flamethrower should be able to finish off the Pinsir. And Surf should be able to start taking down the Claydol. The Surf even did good damage to the Pinsir. The Claydol is likely to do decent damage to Fen here, especially if it went for an Earthquake. Let's see what they have next, though. Crobat. Vivian can take that out. Ah, yeah, an Earthquake. About half of Fen's health. If we focus down the Crobat here, we'll be... Oh, not Crobat, the Claydol here will be fine. Because another Surf will finish off the Claydol, paired with a Stomp. Sludge Bomb from Crobat. Hopefully that doesn't poison. It does poison, which puts us on a time limit. Decent damage to Crobat. Almost all of Claydol's health. Stomp will finish off Claydol. Let's see what they have next. $65 on Vivian. Gligar. Ah, Vivian. Taking a good amount of damage. I'll focus down the Crobat for now. Healing up Vivian or curing the poison sounds like a really good idea, but with the turn we would lose from that, it just isn't worth it. At least not yet. Fen is also going down way too fast. We might lose this battle. Crobat half health. Gligar almost one shot. Earthquake, that's going to take out Fen. And also do damage to Vivian. No way around it, we're going to have to use items to win this. Meditite should tank the hit from Crobat, giving us enough time to full heal. Cure Vivian of poisoning, which will stop it from going down here. Surf will finish off both of the opponents. I don't like the fact that we had to use a full heal in order to win this, but hey, it can't be helped. Better than losing at this point. Surf will finish off both of them, bringing him down to his last two Pokemon. And leaving up the victory to Vivian purely. Let's see what they have. Flygon, okay. Ice Beam will take care of that easily. And Gyarados. Gyarados is going to be a bit more of a problem, but nothing we can't handle. Lowers our attack, but we're special based. We're going to have to use a Hyper Potion here. I don't like all the items we're having to use to win, but once again, it can't be helped. Ice Beam will finish off Flygon in one hit. Earthquake from Gyarados is going to take out our Makuhita and just do a little bit of chip damage to Vivian. That was a bit more than a little. Next up, we'll go for Sleep Powder. And, Ice Beam. Dragon Dance increased attack and speed. No, only attack? Wait. In Gen 3, does Dragon Dance not increase speed as well? That is interesting. Gyarados is asleep now, though. which gives us the perfect chance to start whittling it down. Shadow Rush and Ice Beam. I am going to check into that, though. Dragon Dance Gen 3. First of all, let me just check to see that all the Pokemon are ready to be purified. Ready to be purified. Okay, they're all ready to be purified. Which means we can take use of the Hyper Mode to land a critical hit and not have to worry about anything. Battle effect raises attack and speed. Did I just not see that it increased the speed? Hyper Mode. And with this we can finish it off. And we have beat level 100. Stupendous. This is fantastic. I say fantastic. You had to be to defeat me. Now, I'd like you to have this. Received 1,200 Poke Coupons. I mean, that's still not much, but that is actually a lot better than we got from the other ones. This area did take slightly longer to beat, though, so it works out. Congratulations, but don't be content with this. Don't neglect your training. Of course. Would you like to have our Abra teleport you back to the registration counter? No, not yet. You're going to walk back? Well, that might not be a bad thing. It might be a good walk to savor the victorious quest. But if you decide to use Abra, just let me know. Oh, I am definitely using Abra. I just wanted to check out this area first. There was the one item, so I know there can be items here. I just don't want to miss anything. What's back here where he came from? Oh well, we beat Mount Battle. Let's return. Okay, you got it. Thank you for taking the Mount Battle challenge. Please come back for more training. We completed that, so now it's on to purifying. What purification level is Mantine at? Low enough for us to just set him aside for a while. These three can be purified, but that's a problem for later. Oh, I need another Pokemon to take its place, so let's start putting our new purifications in there. Looks like we're purifying Sudowoodo, Quillfish, Ledian, Gligar, Stantler, and Piloswine. Okay. Actually, since we beat Mount Battle, let's save. We'll be doing that more in the future, just to get the extra levels to make it go smoother. Not risk losing, like we almost did that time. A new challenge, please. And let's get working on purifying. Halo and Hoot Hoot. Sudowoodo and Quillfish. We purified Remoraid, which was the hard one because it was a much lower level. Harder to keep not fainted during the purifying. These will go much smoother. There's Gligar. And Ledian. Hardly anything from the lower level Pokemon. Which gives us the perfect opportunity to switch into the last set. Purifying does take quite a while. But it needs to be done. We need to get all the Pokemon purified. Stantler has Intimidate. Let's get in the Shadow Rushes. Hyper Mode, first go. Another Hyper Mode, perfect. That will speed up the purifying. More Hyper Modes, the better. Couple calls. Not much off the shadow gauge, but every little bit adds up. Another Hyper Mode from Stantler. Didn't get a Hyper Mode from Piloswine this turn, though. He can call Stantler and see if we can get another Hyper Mode on Piloswine before ending the battle. No Hyper Mode. You're a worthy challenger. My hat's off to you, but the road ahead is long and arduous. Put all your effort into it. Now that I think about it, I wonder how many Poke coupons we're up to. I know we recently spent 4,000 to get Suicune Ice Beam. I know we're nowhere near the 10,000 it would take to get a leftovers for Vivian. But we have to be getting somewhat close to a reasonable amount to buy health items. Hyper mode on Sudowoodo. Wait, why did I wasn't paying attention and attacked with the first two. I'll go with a double call just to refresh this. Not like it hurts anything. Would have been a problem if we had actually landed both attacks, but since Sudowoodo went into hyper mode, everything's fine. I'll not make that mistake again. At least not that fast. Switch into the last pair. We get a hyper mode off, convenient, and another hyper mode. That's good purification progress. Slowly making it through, purifying. We've only really had one loss on Mount Battle. Almost had two if I hadn't used those items on level 100. But it's gone pretty smoothly. Now that we have beat Mount Battle though, Next time I will probably end up doing the Colosseums instead of challenging level 10 again. Since we have yet to beat the Colosseums. Probably going to be a lot easier than, well, what was supposed to be the end game of this game. But everything needs to get done, even if it's out of order. That being said, we are far from done with Mount Battle. Lots of purifying to do here, and other stuff too. Although, once I purify all the shadows we have, that's about it for this game until we get the shiny Miltank. Hopefully that by that point we will have gotten extremely lucky and gotten the shiny Miltank, or it will have been a month and we will have Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl to play. No hyper mode. Let's see if we get hyper mode on Piloswine. Nope. Piloswine gets paralyzed, but since we already won, that doesn't really matter. Not having to heal between fights also makes this really convenient. If Mount Battle you kept damage in between fights, that would make it a lot more difficult. Azrael and Sentret? I almost did it again. Have to make sure I switch into all Pokemon to get the Shadow Gauge reduction from switching. I forgot to switch again. Oh well. It can't be helped at this point. Togepi and Vulpix. Not that it matters. The only Pokemon that matters in this first area is the Swinub that can freeze both Pokemon at once. And even then, even if it's annoying, we don't change our strategy at all. Lydian's Shadow Gauge is falling really slowly. time-consuming move. But we can get off our hyper mode now. No double hyper mode. But one hyper mode's still better than none. Stantler's purifying quick. Hyper mode on Piloswine. Nice. Unfortunately, Piloswine isn't getting as many hyper modes. It's not all that far behind Stantler in purification though. A little, but not too far. Magikarp and Zubat. Couple Shadow Rushes. Why did I do that before switching again? Hyper mode. Well, that saves this from being a complete loss. First switch. Second switch. A few more Shadow Rushes. Hyper mode, that works. No hyper mode from Piloswine though, so we don't get to call Stantler until next battle. Poochyena, and there's the troublesome Swinub. Make sure to switch this time. Good purification progress on Gligar. Still not much from Ledian. I'm still not sure what determines the purification rate. How much XP it takes to level up, maybe? I could see that being the case. Which would explain why lower level Pokemon purify faster, but also explain why legendaries purify extremely slowly, and Pokemon like Gligar, which I think has a faster growth rate than Ledian, purify faster than Ledian. Make sure to attack the Swinub, so if we don't enter into Hyper Mode, we will at least take out the one that is harder to deal with. Since the Swinub has Powder Snow. Stantler lands the Shadow Rush. It's going to take a few runs of this first area in order to purify any of this team. Wooper and Trapinch. Making good but slow purification progress. It will definitely take a few more runs before we get any purified. Probably 2 to 3. Stantler will purify before that, but I don't think any of the others will. That might actually be a good point to switch in the Mantine again. Once Stantler is purified. Hyper mode from both. That is good. You can call both in order to get purification. Stantler down by about 2. And Piloswine passes the first bar. I'm going to switch team order after this battle. Now, Stantler needs the extra purification less than Ledian does. Vesicle Minerals. Sudowoodo is down by about 1 shadow bar. Quillfish, not quite that much, but still on track. Gligar is down by about 1. Stantler is down by 2, the furthest down by far. But that's because Stantler's been getting off a lot of hyper modes. The purification will probably slow down to below Gligar's here. Which should make Ledian and Piloswine the hardest to purify, so the ones we're focusing on trying to get hyper modes on. Piloswine, even after a decent number of hyper modes, just under 1 bar. Ledian hasn't gotten any hyper modes off, but only down by about 1/3 of a bar. No hyper mode from Ledian. We did get a hyper mode from Piloswine though. We can call Piloswine and hopefully we'll get a shadow mode from Ledian here, because Ledian way too high of a shadow gauge. But how? Perhaps it's high time that this old woman retire. It will be a relief. And now we can fight Vander again. Not too bad of a purification rate. We've made some decent progress. Not anything too much, but decent progress nonetheless. One thing we can check now, though, is Stantler's nature. Which is somewhat important because Feathers wants to try and use Stantler as a competitive Weirdeer in the future. Sassy. I don't think that's useful. Mints always exist. Well, not always. They don't exist until Gen 8. And Gen 8 Stantler can't be transferred into. So, hopefully they'll be available in the Diamond Pearl remakes or Legends Arceus. I'm not entirely sure of Weirdeer's stat spread. It hasn't been released, so there's no current way to know whether or not it can be built as a tank. But even then, Sassy probably isn't the best nature for it. Increased special defense might be nice if it's bulky, but without the speed, it would be much better for it to lose an attack or special attack, depending on what kind of an attacker it is. We're getting a decent number of hyper modes in this battle, though. Ledian's almost down by a full bar. And Piloswine's almost down by 2. Hi, call me Lexi. Hello there, Lexi. How's your night going? Or whatever time of day it is currently for you? Ledian's actually getting fairly low on health. Nearly a second bar down on Piloswine. It's okay, should be sleeping. Well, feel free to hang out here until you go to sleep. How far into the game are you? We are currently right up into the start of the Colosseum battles in Realgem Tower. We stopped here because we needed to shiny hunt the first shadow that appears in there. So our progress in the game is kind of stalled for now, and we're just doing side stuff. Thanks for the follow also. double hyper mode, good purification. Lydian actually might go down in this fight before we win it. One or two good good hits more will finish it off. Recoil might also do it. Yep, there goes Lydian. Well, not a bad chance to try and get a bit more purification off on Qwilfish. Piloswine's making really good progress with the hyper modes in this battle. And after this, Qwilfish should be about down to the rest of the other three. Haven't had this much luck with hyper mode since back when we were purifying Entei and Suicune, and we got like 10 hyper modes on each in a row. Finally, we actually use a Shadow Rush. Hyper mode. And another hyper mode. Nice. Probably getting about as much purification out of this single battle as we did the other 9 trainers in this area. Whismur not doing much damage to Piloswine. Finally landing a hit, and that will probably okay. Which means this area is finished, and I'll go purify the shadow Pokemon we have that are purifiable now. $100 Poke Coupons. I also am curious how many we're up to at this point. We did just get a good 1,200 from finishing the 100 area in Mount Battle. So we should be up to a decent bit. 3,200. The leftovers, which are our main goal right now, still a decent ways out of reach. Probably will take about another 6 rounds of the level 100. Where am I going? The area 100 Mount Battle, and a few more purification trips into area 1 before we can get the leftovers. Drop off the shadow Pokemon here. Three Pokemon to purify. Even at level 30, Skiploom has proved pretty useful against even level 60 Pokemon in battle. The sleep powder is really good, even with it being such a low level. It's managed to land a lot of them. First step, Meditite. A ribbon, no levels. Makihita next. We did use this one for a short period of time before we got any other Shadow Pokemon to finish up our team, so it might actually gain a level here. Yep, 31. Smelling Salt. Strong against paralyzed targets. Probably better than Foresight. No nickname needed. Oh, evolving. Oh, I accidentally pressed the B button. Oh well. Skiploom. The one of these three that I actually have enjoyed using a bit while trying to purify it. Synthesis. And a level. 2 levels. This one I'm going to make sure I don't accidentally press the B button on. Jumpluff. I don't think I've actually ever seen the Skiploom chain in, well, normal gameplay of any of the games I've played through. It's not commonly seen at all. It has been really fun to use here, though. I can't think of any good nickname. If I decide to name it later, I'll just go to the name writer. And and with that, I will stuff the Pokemon back in the PC and let Feathers start with the shiny hunting portion of the stream. Went over. Well, I need to grab Fen first. Wait, we only have 3 boxes in this game? I mean, we don't really need any more since the Pokemon available are so few. But only 3 boxes in a Pokemon game? That's not very many. You can get shiny Pokemon in here? Yeah, shiny hunting is possible in this game. It wasn't supposed to be, though. The only reason it is because the developers made a mistake in the coding. It is the most tedious game to shiny hunt, though, in. Girl, I have one too many boxes. I had no clue. Yeah, shiny hunting, it's really hard in this game because the way that shiny hunting works is you don't see if it's a shiny until you catch it, because the shininess is determined by the ID number of the Pokemon matching the user's ID. Tedious meaning difficult? Tedious meaning really time-consuming and difficult, yeah. Because there's no way to increase the shiny hunting odds from the base 1 in about 8,000. And it takes a few minutes per reset for most of the shiny Pokemon. And you have to catch the Pokemon before you can see if it is a shiny. I'm gonna have to restart Colosseum. I have no idea where I left off. Yeah. Colosseum's been pretty fun. I've enjoyed this playthrough of it. Sounds like a pain in the ass. Yeah. At least in other games, it takes not anywhere near as long to get a shiny. It is a very fun game, yeah. It's definitely more unique than the other Pokemon games I've played. You gotta know what you're doing. Yep. Oh, I already have the team correct. So I'll just save here and hand the stream over to Feathers.
Hello. I'll be taking over for the shiny hunting portion. But yeah, the way shiny hunting in the game in this works, it takes a long time. Because every time you have to soft reset the GameCube, you end up in that shiny terminal, or not shiny terminal, PC terminal I just left from. Then you have to, for this one, go through all of this cutscene, catch the Pokemon the enemy has, and then maybe get it. Here are the shiny hunt. Left off on 164 encounters last time. Luckily, Miltank is one of the easiest shinies to hunt in this game. Trying to shiny hunt a Pokemon like Entei would be absolutely horrible. Miltank's a lot easier because it's really close to the save point. Oh, soft reset? Well, in this game it would actually be like a full reset. Soft reset is a term used for when you just like restart the game itself. Mainly used in like DS games where there is a quick little button combination you can press to just get back to the title screen. It basically just restarts you so you can get back into the game and re-enter like a static encounter, and you can re-roll the shiny odds. That is not a shiny Miltank, so that means it's time to reset the game. So yeah, soft resetting, it's pretty much just a full-on hard reset that we do here. I just use the term soft resetting because force of habit from all the other shiny hunts I've done in the past. On average, an encounter for the Miltank, yeah, whole process. On average, the encounter for, or I mean, the time it takes for just one encounter for the Miltank is about 3 minutes, just for one roll of the shiny chance. It's the reason why Pokemon Colosseum is the pretty much hardest game to shiny hunt in. That's a pain having to reset every time, yeah. But, not really any faster way. Pokemon XD you can't shiny hunt in, but if you could, it would be pretty much the same process. All the Pokemon in Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness are shiny locked, so there's no getting a shiny in it. Which is what they were trying to do in this. Yeah, a Gale of Darkness. In Pokemon Colosseum, they tried to make it so that you couldn't catch any shinies. But they messed up in the coding, and they did not mess up in the coding when they moved on to Gale of Darkness. So, shinies are impossible in Gale of Darkness. Well, that isn't entirely accurate. Shinies are possible in Gale of Darkness, but only the wild Pokemon shinies in Gale of Darkness are possible. So, like the Erins and other Pokemon you can get from trying to attract wild Pokemon. They can still be shiny, but Shadow Pokemon can't. But specifically, the reason why we are shiny hunting this Miltank is we need a Shadow Pokemon that is shiny. And that is because we are planning on doing a ribbon challenge with it, which is where you go through every single one of the Pokemon games and get all of the ribbons available in all of them on a single Pokemon. Which is way more time consuming than just getting the shiny, probably. At least once you're into the ribbon challenge, you can make consistent progress, whereas the shiny is just entirely random. But the reason we need a shiny Shadow Pokemon is in order to do a ribbon challenge, you need it to start with a Shadow Pokemon, because there is a ribbon exclusive to Shadow Pokemon for purifying them. But Miltank is definitely one of the easiest Pokemon to shiny hunt in this game. Because while there is a random chance of what Pokemon the enemy sends out here, most of the time they do send out Miltank first, which means that you don't have to fight a battle through the rest of their team in order to get to their Shadow Pokemon, and it's also close to a save terminal. A Pokemon like Entei, for example, you would have to walk through all of the first 10 areas in the first area of Mount Battle before you even get to the trainer, and then you have to take out his entire team before he sends out Entei. And to make that shiny hunt harder, you would also then have to catch Entei. And at that point in the game, you would not have the Master Ball. So we're lucky that Miltank, which is the Pokemon I wanted to shiny hunt, is a really easy one comparatively. And even when this trainer doesn't send out Miltank first, because they only have 3 Pokemon total, you only need to fight your way through one of them. But even with a shiny as easy to hunt as a Miltank compared to the rest of them, I've done the math, and it will take us at the pace that we're going of about 2 hours of shiny hunting per stream, 3 streams a week, plus me doing a little bit of extra shiny hunting off stream. It would take about 1 year in order to hit odds, which is really painful time. But the harder the shiny hunt, the bigger the payoff. Another weird thing with Colosseum as a GameCube game, when I soft reset it, there is a chance that it just comes up with like an error that just takes a bit more time to click through. Like it claiming that the save data is corrupt when it isn't, and I can just click B and then A again and it will let me into the game. Or some other errors. The one that makes me reset the game again from the title screen is the most time-consuming one. But that is also like the rarest error that pops up. Bad roll on the Pokemon this time. Have to fight through the Zangoose. And I misclicked Sunny Day. Entei's over-leveled enough, though, that it doesn't really make too much of a difference or it's a little bit of a time loss. Why am I trying to throw a Master Ball? I didn't take out the Zangoose yet. There we go. But as I was saying earlier, you don't know if the Pokemon is a shiny until after you catch it. So, although it probably isn't, like, there's almost no chance it is. This Miltank, even though it's on the field and looks normal, could very well be a shiny, because what determines the shininess is if the ID it has matches the trainer's ID. Which can also lead to the opponent having a shiny, but when you catch it, you don't, because it would transfer trainers, and its ID would no longer match the trainer's ID, so it would no longer be shiny. Which would be really just discouraging, seeing a shiny that you don't actually get to keep. I have read a bit that there's speculation that in most normal trainer battles that can't happen, though. So, I'm hoping I don't have to see a shiny Miltank that I don't get. Something else that makes this hunt uniquely difficult for us that hasn't really come into play for most other people who would be doing this hunt is our game disc of Pokemon Colosseum is it's not in the best condition. It plays, but there's a lot of game disc errors, which just mean we have to open and close the GameCube a bit to cancel them out and get the game running again. The flaw with disc-based games is the disc scratch, and buying a new copy of Colosseum is pretty expensive. And the new copy that I did buy happens to be the scratched one. But it works better than the even worse condition one that I also have, because that one pretty much doesn't even play. Miltank's up first. Good roll. There's also other random pieces of RNG that can add a little bit to the time in between shiny encounter, or I mean not shiny, but just encounters for a chance of a shiny. For example, whether the opponent sends out their next Pokemon or you send out the Miltank that you just caught first is pretty much completely random. So if the opponent sends out theirs, you have to sit through that extra animation before you send out the Miltank and see if it's shiny. It's mainly just a bunch of little stuff that all adds together to really just put a decent time in between the encounters. Also, because the entire process is really repetitive, I tend to have a hard time just constantly coming up with things to talk about while doing the shiny hunting. Which leads to probably more pauses than I should have. That right there is actually something I could probably do to get just a small time save. If I were to reorganize Entei's moves so Flamethrower comes out first. It would stop me from having to click past Sunny Day when I need to take out a Zangoose. Not a shiny. Now, before I go back, can you rearrange moves in this game? Not switch, summary. Yep, there it goes. That should stop me from constantly accidentally clicking Sunny Day, which has happened more than a few times. Even with how small each time we catch it, the chance of it being shiny is, they do all add up. And with each stream, with us going for 41 encounters per stream, that's about 0.5% of it being shiny each stream. Or at least 0.5% of the odds of it being shiny. Since hitting odds doesn't necessarily guarantee you a shiny. Not a shiny. But since we're going through for the ribbon challenge, after getting it actually be a shiny, we will have to get the other ribbon that is available for it within Coliseum, which is to have it defeat have it in your party when you defeat Mount Battle without switching out your team. starting from the first level of Mount Battle to level 100. That is the annoying here. That makes me reset the GameCube completely. But once we do get the shiny and both of those ribbons, then we have to take it to Pokemon Emerald and get it a good handful of ribbons there. And from Emerald all the way up through all the generations. And since we also have the Diamond and Pearl remakes coming out in a month, I'm really hoping that the Sinnoh or online battling ribbon becomes re-available in that one or in those games instead of them creating a new ribbon for it. Because currently, in order to get that ribbon, you have to basically go through a fan-made Nintendo server since they canceled the DS's online servers a while back, making that ribbon nearly impossible to get. So if they do make that ribbon re-available in the Sinnoh remakes, that would just make the completing of the ribbon challenge a lot easier. In total, throughout the generations, unless they add any more, I think that I saw that there's like 87 ribbons total to collect. And that isn't counting the one item that kind of functions as a ribbon available in Heart Gold and Soul Silver. The, like, Shiny Crown or something it's called. Which, well, technically isn't a ribbon. The code for it remains stored in the game, even though it doesn't appear later on in other generations. Which means it's still technically there if they ever bring it back. And worth collecting on a Pokemon that you're doing a ribbon challenge with, because if you're going to the trouble of collecting all 87 ribbons, you might as well just take a little bit of time and grab that too. Unfortunately, Porygon 2 also has Trace, which takes up not too long, but long enough that it increases the length of the encounter rate slightly. Nothing in particular takes too long on its own, but it's just all these small things that add up. That was actually kind of interesting. Rui got stuck at the edge of the railing there. She normally gets stuck there, but when she gets stuck there, she gets stuck on the other side of it, not at the, railing cap. I don't think I've seen that in the, 173 soft resets I've done. Here is Miltank number 174, which means it is the 10th of the day. Only 31 to go after this. Except for in the non-existent odds of one of these 31 being a shiny. Then we get to stop. It is unfortunate we had to stop our playthrough of the game for this shiny. Even if this is one of the easiest shinies to hunt, having it be a post-game shiny would be a little nicer, since we would have gone to complete our playthrough of the game before having to start shiny hunting. Miltank is not up first. At the very least, by the time we do end up getting a shiny, we will have probably completed all of the side game stuff that we can do up to that point. Fluff has already finished doing Mount Battle and beat level 100 today. She's also been making good progress on purifying the shadows. So, by the time she does finish purifying all the shadow Pokemon we currently have, because we won't be able to get any more than we currently do until after we catch the shiny Miltank, by that point the Diamond Pearl remakes will hopefully be out. And we will be doing the shiny hunting as half of the stream, and then doing a playthrough of the DP remakes. Then after that, we will do playthroughs of each of the generations in order, and just kind of set up each game so we have a base of operations to work on the ribbon challenge of it, or in. As for an XD Gale of Darkness playthrough, we will also probably be doing that, but not until after we finish Colosseum 100%. Which, with shiny Miltank odds, that may take quite a while. Also, since Sora comes out in Smash tomorrow, we will probably try to get a Smash stream working on Tuesday. Unfortunately, we haven't had much luck getting the Smash streams working. Too many unexplainable arena crashes. There's also the new Minecraft update coming out in a couple months. Might try streaming that a bit once it does come out. The increased sky cap and level below bedrock. It's something that has had my interest in for a while. With that addition to world height, some pretty cool builds could be made. Well, we weren't getting too many of the game just cannot be read errors for the good first chunk of the shiny hunting. No Miltank up front. Once we do get to Emerald, we're going to have to farm up a ton of EV reducing berries from this game. Especially Entei and Suicune's EVs are going to have to be completely redone to use them in a semi-competitive way for, like, the Battle Tower in Emerald. The Battle Tower in Emerald is also one of the harder ribbons to get, because you have to keep your Pokemon under level 50 when you challenge it in order to be eligible to get one of the ribbons. If you get a Pokemon you're trying to complete the ribbon challenge on, or ribbon challenge with, over level 50, that ribbon just becomes locked from it. Which is another reason why we're hunting Miltank, since Miltank is at level 48, right underneath level 50. That also means that we won't be able to use Entei and Suicune for the sub-level 50 Battle Tower run. Which is definitely going to make it more difficult, since Entei and Suicune are, at least as of now, the only Pokemon we have that are capable of, most capable of being used for semi-competitive play. They'd still need their EVs to be redone, but other than that, luckily, the Suicune has a really good nature, and Entei has a neutral nature. They'll be useful for the level 100 challenge, but the level 50 challenge, we'll have to substitute out them for other Pokemon that can be of use. That level 50 Battle Tower challenge will actually probably be one of the hardest ribbons for us to get, since a lot of the other Pokemon that we are planning to put together in a semi-competitive team, we want to use Shadow Pokemon from XD Gale of Darkness and Colosseum. And I think two of the said shadows that we are planning on using come at over level 50, so they won't be eligible. That would be, I think there's a Snorlax and a Dragonite that you can get in XD. Which will mean the Pokemon that we can actually use for it are going to be extremely limited. Whether or not Miltank will be useful for completing the level 50 Battle Tower is entirely up to what nature we end up rolling on it. With a bad nature, it would be pretty much useless for the Battle Tower, but if we get a good one, Miltank is usable in a semi-competitive setting. It's not one of the most viable Pokemon, but it is still a viable Pokemon that works pretty well. Other than that, there's a good chance we'll end up using the Shadow Skarmory that we got. Although that also kind of depends on what nature it is, since we can't check the natures until we purify them down to a certain extent. Other than those two, though, we'll have to figure out something else for that team. But we'll probably get some other semi-competitive Pokemon while playing through Emerald. Maybe grab one from XD too. I think Jolteon was, while not being the best, still competitively viable in this region. And we do get an Eevee as a starter Pokemon in XD, so that could also work. There's also probably a good one or two other Pokemon we could pick up somewhere. I think there is a starter Pokemon available from beating Mount Battle on the 100 streak, no team switching. Might be able to make use of one of those. That would actually be a Pokemon we could reset for the nature for, but with how long that would take, I don't think it would really be worth it. No, Miltank up first. Also, luckily, while it is about 3 minutes per encounter on a Miltank, it's just slightly under that. It doesn't really matter when you look at it just like 1 or 2 encounters, but once we get through like a good handful, a couple tens of them, we start to actually save time and fit in an extra Miltank or 2 here and there. A couple seconds might not be much on its own, but saving a couple seconds repeatedly across a bunch of encounters saves a good amount of time at some point. And on a hunt as long as this one, the seconds build up into minutes, and those minutes will eventually build up into hours saved. This will be Miltank number 184, which will also mean the 20th Miltank of the day and the halfway point for the shiny hunting. The Ribbon Challenge is completely possible without a shiny Pokemon, but just since there is the possibility to do the ribbon challenge on a shiny Pokemon, it just kind of seems like a waste not to grind out a shiny Pokemon for it. Of course, getting that shiny Pokemon pretty much doubles the time of the ribbon challenge. But, eh. In the end, we'll have one really cool Miltank. Miltank also just seemed like a safe pick for doing the ribbon challenge with, because it is one of the Pokemon that is in Gen 8, and it will probably be in the DP remakes. If a game comes out where the ribbon champion is not in because of the dex cuts, it would be pretty sad, because then all of the work getting the ribbon champion through the different games and all the ribbons would pretty much come to a dead end, as it couldn't get any ribbons from said game. Because Pokemon like Stantler, I think Stantler would be a pretty cool one, because it is getting the weirder evolution. But because it isn't in Galar, having a Stantler as a ribbon champion would just kind of come to a standstill there. Wouldn't have all the ribbons a Pokemon could have. Miltank is a pretty iconic Pokemon. It's not anywhere near as iconic as like a Pikachu or a Meowth or something like that. That is pretty much guaranteed to be in all the future generations, but yeah, it's been around for a long time. It's a Pokemon I think that has a pretty decent chance of making it into a lot of the future generations. It doesn't have necessarily the popularity backing it up, but it still is a pretty iconic Pokemon. No matter what Pokemon we go with, though, there's always the chance that it won't make it to the future generations. So all we can really do is just hope that the one that we do choose will end up making it. And thank you for the follow, Dutchify. It took me way too long to read that name out. Cool spelling, I just didn't put it together immediately. Speaking of the future generations and Stantler, which isn't in Gen 8, I do really wonder whether or not you will be able to transfer the Pokemon into Pokemon Legends Arceus. It's already been confirmed, I believe, that you can transfer them out, but with the entire Distant Past thing, it could be cool, but don't know which way they're going to head with that. Because I could see it going both ways. If so, there's also the possibility of being able to pick up ribbons there, which could be cool. Would be interesting to see what ribbons would be available in that generation. I personally don't expect there to be any ribbons in Legends Arceus, though. There's also that rumor going around that the Gen 4 remakes will only have the Pokemon available in them up until Gen 4, but the main reason I'm not sold on that rumor is because of Pokemon Legends Arceus. Since they're adding the regional evolutions for Basculin and the Eagle Pokemon I forget the name of, they're both Pokemon from Gen 5, and I think it would just be kind of weird for them to be made available in the Pokemon Legends Arceus, but not able to be put into Diamond and Pearl remakes. I mean, it is Pokemon, so it's entirely possible that that will be the case, but I'd like to believe that at least they will be transferable into Diamond and Pearl remakes, which could also lead to a small Dex expansion onto Sword and Shield 2, at least for the Pokemon with Hisuian forms and evolutions. Oh wait, no thanks, not up front. There's the Miltank. But since I'm also not sold on Gen 4 remakes only having Pokemon up to Gen 4 because of, as mentioned earlier, Basculegion and the evolved Eagle Pokemon. Still forget the name of it. I do wonder what Pokemon will be available in it. I think all Pokemon up to Gen 4 are pretty much guaranteed. But the Hisuian ones, I think, are likely. But that also leaves room for maybe a good handful more from later generations. There's also the new, I forget what they're called, but the Pokemon from Legends Arceus that are going to kind of function as bosses. So with those, I do think there's going to be more than just up to Gen 4. However, that also kind of adds the risk that maybe they won't add all Pokemon up to Gen 4, but just do a selective pick in the same way that Sword and Shield did. Which could be really inconvenient if they don't add Miltank to that selective pick. Ugh. Also in the Gen 4 remakes, since they are adding, like, modern conveniences of Pokemon, I do think they're probably going to do something with the post-game. I'm hoping they add, something interesting there. Megas are, for the most part, pretty much deconfirmed, but I'm still managing to somehow hold out a little bit of hope. Getting Megas in the post-game would be pretty cool. They probably would have already shown off that Megas were returning by now if they were, though. So the odds of it are pretty slim to none, but I still think it would be pretty cool. Unfortunately, even if they do return, they are keeping the competitive battling scene to Sword and Shield. So we wouldn't really see a resurgence of megas in the competitive battling, even if they are re-added. It would still be really cool to see that. Because as it stands, we're not going to be getting Dynamaxing in the Sinnoh remakes, I don't think. That wouldn't make any sense. So if they don't add Megas into the post-game, that just means that there will be no kind of regional gimmick that we've had for quite a while in each region now. Entirely possible, since once again they aren't keeping, or I mean they are keeping the competitive scene to Sword and Shield. But I still think there's a good chance of us seeing some kind of gimmick. And Megas are most likely one, I think. Since Dynamaxing is pretty much created to be exclusive to Galar in the first place, and the only other real option would be the Z crystals from Alola, which I honestly don't think we're going to see again. At least not until like a decade in the future when they remake Alola. Actually, that'd be more than a decade at this point, wouldn't it? Since they would have to remake Black and White and then X and Y first. It would probably be over a decade until the Lola remake. Not that I am, like, the biggest Alola fan, but just kind of interesting to think about that. Because they add, like, about 2 new regions for every one that they remake. So at some point, eventually, the gap will just keep growing and growing. Until there's, like, 10 new regions before the last remake. That is if they keep with their current generations model, which they might be changing from since they are doing Legends Arceus. I wouldn't really complain if they were to just, like, cap the regions at 8. Obviously, they wouldn't, like, just stop making new Pokemon, since they're adding, you know, like, the Hisuian ones, but them stopping the added regions and stuff would at least fix the Dex cut issue. You wouldn't see the games, like, have only a tiny fraction of Pokemon available in them as the Pokemon that exists keeps growing more and more. Miltank's not up front. At this point, I wonder if Fen could one-shot the Porygon too. Zangoose is a lot more frail, and the one-shotting of it is consistent. So I haven't really tried it lately. But with the level gap, it might be possible for a Flamethrower to just OHKO the Porygon too. Especially since it wouldn't have Eviolite in this game. I'll probably stick with just KOing the Zangoose instead of testing it, though. That way is at least assured. I think the biggest issue we have with reaching the modern and future generations with this Miltank that we're going to be doing the Ribbon Challenge with is, honestly, at any point they could just end the 3DS's internet. Which would stop you from being able to transfer Pokemon up to the current gens. It took them quite a while before they canceled the normal DS internet, so we might have some decent time yet. But it's just kind of an unknown factor. That could be a time limit on us being able to complete the Ribbon Challenge. Since people on the 3DS, there really aren't many active users right now, I don't think. Nintendo might just randomly decide, okay, time to turn off internet for the 3DS. In such a situation, I would be able to transfer up every Pokemon that we have in the old games to the current ones, though. Because I do have all the games in order for the transferring. The plan is currently to play through each one of them independently again, though. Just for this, but in an emergency situation, I could probably transfer all Pokemon up pretty quickly. I think they would at least give, like, a month or two's notice to ending 3DS internet, though. I think they did the same thing with the DS internet. But that time limit is kind of a unknown, daunting thing for this Ribbon Challenge we're undertaking. once we actually get the shiny, though, it would potentially be possible to speed up the ribbon challenge by just using the finished copies of each game I have. But by using those, we would run into the problem of not having a actual team to help get the ribbons, because all the old games that I have up through the current gen are empty. All the Pokemon already transferred up to the current gens, pretty much. So each game copy I have is pretty much just a ghost town, empty PCs, maybe like a Magikarp sitting here and there or something, but not much more than that. Well, there is actually one exception to that. The spin-off game Pokemon Ranch for the Wii, I have a lot of Pokemon I just never actually bothered to transfer back into the main series games. But getting those back into the main series games would also depend on me getting a very old, very worn out Wii to work, which I'm not sure of. I'll probably try to transfer those Pokemon into the, along with the ones we collect in the older games, up to the current ones when we get to that point, but that requires us getting to Sinnoh anyways. And hopefully I won't have to evacuate, all Pokemon from the older games to the newer ones with, like, 1 month's notice. At least not for a while yet. Also, something to note, that since we are getting the Diamond Pearl remakes in a month, that pretty much means that there is never going to be another XD and Colosseum remake, which was pretty obvious to begin with, but if there would have been, they would have probably been before, or in between the Gen 3 remakes and the Gen 4 remakes. It is a spin-off game, so you never know, but probably never going to be a remake of it. Which is unfortunate because the Colosseum and XD are great games. A remake of them, or even just like a new spin-off in the Aura region, would be really fun. And that is the 195th Miltank, which means 31st of the day and only 10 more to go. Making good progress. Slow but consistent progress. But since Pokemon did hand off the duty of creating the Diamond Pearl remakes to a not our Game Freak, it does actually raise the possibility of them doing something like Colosseum and XD again. Because XD and Colosseum, while being spin-off games, are about as close to main series games as any spin-off game is. And with them handing off the, duty of creating the Diamond and Pearl remakes to not Game Freak, the chance of them doing that again for some other spin-off game is there. While it probably wouldn't be XD or anything like XD Gale of Darkness or Pokemon Colosseum, having another spin-off Pokemon game that is really close to being a main title series, that would be pretty cool. Especially since there's so much stuff they could do with it. And since they are kind of widening their horizons with Legends Arceus, it means that there's a lot possible that they could do. I think that's the best thing about Pokemon Legends Arceus and the Diamond Pearl remakes. That it's just something different from what they have done in the past. It opens up new doors for what they could do in the future. Games that break away from the, normal formula that they haven't done since XD and Colosseum. And just the extension of who is making the games. With the new possibilities from that, we could see something just really different in the future, which could be really fun. That being said, I hope Nintendo Game Freak and all that don't just completely stray away from the original formula or completely, because the games that are there are all really fun. There are of course problems with them, and they're not perfect, and them trying new things is a good thing. But at the same time, I hope it just doesn't get to the point where we never see a game with the same mechanics. Especially since they're stepping back from like all the tall grass with the wild area and all of the intricacies with the mobile PC and or EXP all instead of an EXP share, basically. I mean, technically they have been expanding their horizons with the Pokemon that you can transfer into the main series games, at least since Pokemon Go gained connectivity features. I don't really play Pokemon Go, but it gaining the connectivity features to transfer Pokemon to the main series games, I think that was a good starting point for when Pokemon started expanding the games. Because obviously Pokemon Go isn't like an actual main series in the same way that the rest are, since it's just a mobile game. So it gaining those connectivity features I think it was the starting point. You could see a lot of better developments because of that and what it is leading into. As Pokemon just kind of breaks away from the same formula. And even if Pokemon does, like, completely break away from the formula, even if that would be a bit unfortunate because of some of the cool, just the way that the old Pokemon games worked, the old Pokemon games would still be around and they are still fun games. It's good to revisit them every here and there. The main problem with doing that is it's just really inconvenient for most people. Luckily for us at least, it isn't all that much of a problem since, well, I have a GameCube hooked up. I still have all of the old Pokemon games. Still have DS's. But that is also a cool way that they could bring the old games back, is through the Nintendo Online. As much of a questionable business practice as the Nintendo Online for the Nintendo Switch is, it does open up some doors. I mean, having to pay such a large price for old games, it's a controversial business practice for a very good reason. But as they are continuously expanding it, I think there's a possibility of them like adding the, for like example, a Game Boy expansion pack for the emulated games. And if they did that, they would probably add or some form of connectivity to transfer the Pokemon. So you might even be able to play like Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, all of them on the Nintendo Switch. Of course, that comes with the very large price of the Nintendo Online, which, once again, very questionable business practice. But it would be a way to kind of just keep things going. Especially since how hard it is to play or the old games on actual hardware. Emulating them, easy enough, but for actual hardware, it's just not feasible these days. Once again, we're lucky that we already have all this stuff from back in the day when I got it all as a kid. But if you go to buy any of the old, like, consoles or even the games, they are expensive nowadays. Since they've been out of, print for so long, the price just keeps going up. Even if it comes with the giant price tag of, like a huge Nintendo Online subscription. Whether or not it's worth it to get, that's another thing. But it would be cool to see, all of the old games just become available for play on hardware. In a way that, honestly, even if emulation is free and all that and so much easier, if you wanted to, actually get the consoles and games for the old games, it would cost a whole lot more than just the emulation of Nintendo Online. Still not necessarily defending the business practice of it, but cost-effective wise, or compared to just like buying a or like even a Nintendo 64 and all the games for it, it is very effective for hardware play. Them raising the price on the Nintendo Online thing, though, that is definitely a questionable decision. Them expanding to, like, Nintendo 64 games, that shows a lot of promise, but if for each time they, like, expand to a new generation of consoles that are available for emulation, they also increase the price, then that would just get way too ridiculous. And at some point it would outpace the cost effectiveness. If they were to get to the point where it costs like $100 a year for just the online and the emulation, at that point, given a few years, you'd be better off just buying the retro console in some cases and the games to go with it. Because at least those aren't a subscription service that you have to keep paying into. Miltank number 200. Slowly but surely, that number is raising. I do wonder how the expansion of Nintendo Online is going to continue. If it will just stop at some point, or if they will keep emulating everything up until everything is available on the Switch alone. If they do that without increasing the price would probably end up being worth it for the more expensive online package. But if they just keep increasing the price, I don't think very many people would buy into it. There's also the possibility of them just stopping the expansion of it at some point. But as they do continue expanding it, there's some pretty interesting things they could add. Like the connectivity features with the the Game Boy games, like I already mentioned. But if they expand past that even, we could even see XD and Gale of Darkness available for emulation on the Nintendo Switch. Which would probably be as close to a remake of it, or another spin-off game in the same vein, as we would ever get. Also, at some point, they would probably stop expanding. I don't think we would get, like, all Nintendo game systems available for emulation on the Switch. I could see them emulating even up to Wii, especially since they did do Mario Galaxy in the one pack. I can completely see them adding emulation up to the Wii, and by extension, probably the DS, because they were out at the same time. They had interconnecting features between them. As for whether or not they would expand to the 3DS, though, that's very questionable. Also, at that point, that would be, unlike just the smaller libraries of games that like Nintendo 64 and other game systems that are up for emulation are. Because the Wii and GameCube, and especially the DS and 3DS, all have much larger libraries. So I can probably see them going up to like the Wii and then not emulating the DS games. And of course, all that is speculation, though. Also, them adding, like, Wii emulation is called into question by the remakes of Wii games that we already have on the Switch. Because they remade Skyward Sword instead of just adding emulation to it. That doesn't necessarily deconfirm Wii games getting emulation, but it also doesn't add any credibility to that theory. At that point, I think we would end up seeing just more ports, which would be good on its own. A single port costs more than like a year's subscription to Nintendo Online, so it's far more expensive, but I prefer actually owning something rather than just like getting it free from a subscription service where if you end the subscription you lose it. So ports would probably be preferable, at least to me. But I don't foresee any Coliseum or XD ports. Maybe some Game Boy ports, like the Emerald and that line, which I've already mentioned, potentially getting emulation. Because they did add the original Pokemon game ports for the DS, or for the 3DS, back when, was that back in Kalos? I don't remember, it's been a long time. But they did add those ports where you could play them emulated and transfer. So I could foresee something like that showing up on the Switch at some point. Either way, when they disconnect the 3DS internet connectivity, it's going to be really unfortunate. Even if they do eventually add 3DS ports and potentially emulation to the Switch. Not that the Nintendo 3DS internet gets all that much use now, I don't think. But just them ending it would basically lock all previous Pokemon games into the past, and you would no longer be able to transfer up. So, depending on what they do, they could mitigate that by adding ports and emulation, but it's still going to be a shame regardless when that day comes. Only a couple Miltanks to go left for today. Then we will have hit our daily quota of 41. Half a percent of odds. Something unfortunate they have been doing in more modern Pokemon games that they've been doing for a while is shiny locking. Pokemon XD was the first majorly shiny locked game, I believe. But even after that, it was possible to shiny hunt in, like, Sinnoh and Unova. But in more modern games, you can't shiny hunt legendaries, and just a lot more Pokemon are shiny locked. It's an unfortunate thing that has just been increasing in the rate of it being done. and then distributing the shiny legendaries as events. Like the current event that some countries are doing for the shiny legendaries of Sword and Shield. I'm not sure if more than just a couple countries are doing that, though. I think I heard that Korea and Japan are doing it. I'm not sure about the rest of the world. I don't actually remember which generation they started putting the shiny locks in place. It probably won't be possible to shiny hunt Dialga and Palkia, though, in the remakes. Going off of just recent shiny locking, the way they've been doing it. I do a fair bit of shiny hunting, but not to the extent where that would be a massive problem for me. And even if they do shiny lock the legendaries of Shining Diamond and Brilliant Pearl, the legendaries are available in the Dynamax Adventures in Sword and Shield. Still, the shiny hunting practices of late have been less than ideal. Here it is, the 205th Miltank. Last one of the day. And then I think we actually have enough people in here to go and raid someone. Does anyone in here have anyone that they would want to raid? There's 205th. Ah, and as soon as I mention raiding raiding someone, everyone leaves. Oh well. Well, guess we're not raiding anyone. It's back down to the point where it isn't really worth it, I don't think, for someone to get raided by. So we'll be ending there for the day. Thank you for joining us, and see you next time if you decide to stop by. Night.